Hello again. I'm here with another review. This one for The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. This is my second book that I've read for Black History Month, and this is probably the most important book I think on racism and on poverty that you could read. This is a must read book. I couldn't even give this book any more stars than five. This is just an eye opening, amazing book that I learned so much after reading this book. I mean, I had to stamp from the beginning first that I read, and that was a real nice history of racist ideals in this country, and it does talk about this book in that book. But this book is currently so important. If you don't know about me, a history of me anyway, as far as what I'm interested in, I was interested in sociology for a little while. I even picked up this huge book on social stratification, with all different stories. It's basically a textbook that I picked up on my own, just because I wanted to be a little bit more informed. But I don't think anything is more important than what is happening with the drug laws in this country and how they are affecting African American communities, all communities really. I mean, it does affect African American communities, and there's some interesting things about the justice system. How you can legally be racist against jurors. That as long as you don't say that you're taking someone off a jury because they're black, you could say it's because of their hair color or the way they dress, or you could say anything, and as long as you're not saying that it's because they're African American, legally you can take anybody off a jury. The concept that once you become a felon, a drug felon, once you become a felon, you have trouble finding work, trouble with public assistance, trouble with you can't vote, you have no rights. I mean, that's why they talk about how this is the new Jim Crow. And until we as a society really take a look at this, really take a look at what this is doing to our cities. I grew up, if you're not aware, I grew up in what would be considered an urban enterprise zone. You know, a fancy word for the slum, I guess. And I mean, my community was more Hispanic than African American, but it's still the same issues apply with this as far as what the drug laws are doing to so many people. They are trapping people in a cycle where they can't get a job, they can't support their family, they can't even get decent housing, and meanwhile, still a lot of people are still surviving through this, but it's making it so difficult for people to actually step up this ladder, to get out of poverty, to get out of, or to actually push them into poverty because of this, and how it's so slanted towards towards one color people than the other. People of color compared to white people of color are way more incarcerated, way more affected by the felon laws, drug felony laws in this book, and especially topical now with what's going on with Trump and his new war on drugs and war on gangs. This thing is so important. Everyone needs to read it. I cannot fully explain to you how important this book is. I mean, I know a lot of people, who might be thinking, oh, these are criminals, and they just, if they didn't have to be criminals. But what you're doing is you're taking people, you're locking them up, and then once they leave the prison system, they don't have choices. The choices are taken away from them, and you're basically creating a cycle of crime because of these stupid drug felony laws. I don't care what you do, I don't think anybody should lose their right to vote. I don't care what you do, you shouldn't have to discriminate against somebody, especially if they do a non-violent drug conviction. There's no reason that these people should be ostracized from our community. There's no reason these people shouldn't be able to get public housing. There's no reason these people should be treated like second-class citizens. And this is just, again, like I said, this is such an important book for me to read. I mean, I heard the author talk in a lecture, I think, on YouTube about this. The talk is nothing like the book. You still have to read the book because the book goes into detail, goes into history, goes into all of the challenges that happen because of these drug laws, all of what people have to overcome because of these laws. There's some changes happening in California. I know they're talking about removing a lot of the felony drug convictions for marijuana, but that's just a small little thing compared to what has been affected by people in this society. I am really amazed at the power of this book, especially for Black History Month. You should definitely read this book because it is so current. It is so important to open people's eyes to what's really going on and why you're not going to be able to get rid of the cycle of poverty. People complain about how black fathers can't raise their kids. Meanwhile, once you put somebody in the prison system and they come out and they can't get a job because of their felony record, or at least it's very hard to get a job because of their felony record. They can't get housing. They can't get all this stuff. It puts so many stacks against them. And because of the corrupted legal system that we have in this country, the corrupted jury system that we have in this country, it's just you're pretty much stacking the deck. And with the new laws, the way going on, the new war on drugs, with the opioid addictions and the new war on gangs, I think that this issue of what we're supposed to do with felony convictions, especially drug felony convictions, non-violent felony convictions, this is still very important right now. And this is a book, like I said, everyone should read. I am so happy that I've actually, decided to read this book and not just take the basic stuff that I saw from videos and stuff and actually looked about mass incarceration in the age of colorblindness. Because once you read this book, maybe you'll be just as angry as I am about this injustice that's going on. And maybe if enough of people read this, maybe more will be done. So obviously I'm very passionate about this book. I'm very passionate about the trouble, the problems that drug felony convictions do, the problems that affect communities, especially communities of color, and how this book is a must-read for anybody interested in learning about poverty, learning about a system that is rigged, and to literally open your eyes about what's going on in the world. So I don't think I could ever give a book any more praise on this. I know I've gone on way too long. It's a book that really needs to be read. I only touched the surface of stuff on this book. It's a book that really needs to be read to fully understand what's going on. And that's the new Jim Crow, Mass Incarceration in the Age of Colorblindness by Michelle Alexander. Please pick it up. Thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.